Back in 2001, Shimano actually approached us at Queen's University and were very proactive about trying to entice us to look at tournaments and decide whether there was anything that they could do better.
We are constantly vigilant of looking at weaknesses within in the system to make sure that wherever we're participating as a business in sustainable use of a public resource, that we're as responsible as we can possibly be.
So the first part of that relationship was actually about a 5-year, very intensive research program with a number of graduate students looking at all the different aspects of tournaments from one end to the other, just trying to understand everything that the fish went through. It was only after we got that information and sat down and really looked at how things broke down that we could see where things were fine and where some things needed to be improved.
I can't tell you how well catch and release has been accepted. 30 years ago, when we started talking about catch and release, the attitude, even amongst outdoor writers, was all the fish just swim to the bottom and die. And we knew that wasn't the case, but we had to invest in the science, because science is irrefutable, really. Quality science gives quality results that are hard to argue against. And we knew that it would work.
For the most part, fish are in really good condition when they come in from the live wells. And then what we also found was that in the traditional old format for the weigh-in, there was actually a big disturbance in the fish from the time they left the live well until the time that they were released back into the lake. So something had to change. There was room to improve, and that's where we decided to make some changes. People don't realize that fish don't breathe air, although we all know that. It is easy to take a fish out of water, and whether you're moving it or taking a hook out, or in the old case of the traditional format for weigh-ins, people were taking their fish out of the boat, putting them in bags, and the fish were getting exposed to low oxygen from the time they left the live well. In the bags, on the stage, with the old scale and in air being weighed, and then even in the live release boats, every step from the time the fish leave the boat has changed. With the science we did, we measured oxygen at every step through the weigh-in, and we found that fish in the bags, for example, were depleting the bags of oxygen within a couple of minutes. So with the traditional format, people used to wait with their fish in bags for 10, 15 minutes to weigh their fish. The fish were completely out of oxygen in that situation.
So if you want them to be healthy, you got to keep them in water, and you got to keep them in water as long as you can. So the minute that they get caught by the anglers, and the anglers are probably the most responsible people I've ever run across. They really do care about the fish that they're after. They come into the weigh-in, the fish are then taken out and put into a bag with water. They immediately are checked to make sure that they meet the tournament regulations as far as size and so on and so forth. Then they're put into, we use baskets. They go into a trough. We use troughs that not only have aeration but also have oxygenators in them. They go onto the stage, they're weighed in the water, they're brought back out and put into the live release boats, and once a certain percentage of fish, either by numbers or weight or by boats, are achieved, then the boats go out. And the fish are taken out to 1, 2, or more spots, depending on how many fish and where you are, and the weather conditions for release, with the idea being good water quality and an opportunity for them to disperse.
Everything's been measured so much that we have a really good understanding of it. Trying to do it without measuring things is like trying to cook without knowing the temperature of the oven. You're just guessing.
Do I think that the Shimano water weigh-in system is a preeminent system? Yeah, I would have to say yes. Anybody can use a system like that. The bottom line is simply this: the fish live in the water. Keep them in the water as long as you can. If you do that, you're going to look after them far better than if you don't.
In my opinion, it's definitely the way to go. I believe that weighing fish in water and keeping them in well-oxygenated water as close as possible to the temperature they came from is really the only way to look after fish if you're going to release most of them alive. And I don't think that you can really do much better than what we're doing now at the level of the weigh-in.
Anything made by man is not perfect, so there's always going to be room for improvement. But I can say one thing, that we started off not understanding the whole process, and I don't mean competitive fishing, we just didn't understand fish well enough. We didn't understand the impact of catch and release on them to start with. And what we've done is we've tried to show some level of corporate social responsibility by making big problems smaller and smaller until we have eliminated them, knowing full well that in a perfect world you never eliminate all the problems.